Hey guys, I want to talk about stock S&D real quick. I've owned this thing for probably going on 5 years or so, and it spiked to maybe $5 one time. Um, I don't know why back here it spiked, but this company is very undervalued. Uh, they they basically just make sand for the oil industry, and at some point, oh, the owners think that it's almost kind of like a rare resource because it's only found in certain parts of the country. Um, but over the last couple of years, they basically have been buying up railroads and um, things in their local area, and they've been buying these things at very cheap valuations. Um, the last time I had bought this thing, um, I was trying to get it below two, but my price was maybe like 216, and they had earnings. Uh, it's been 20 days ago. 20 days ago. And this thing has just gone up like day after day after day after day, and it's like unbelievable. Like I said, I haven't owned this. I guess I should say I hadn't owned it all of 5 years, but I've been following it for 5 years, and the I sold it last time like a week before it popped like to $5, and I was just kicking myself. Now the thing I'm worried about is I'm worried about oil falling to say $30, because instead of inflation, I think we're going to have deflation. And what happens to this company that's barely profitable? That and in August they paid a 10 cent a share dividend. And the good thing that the only thing I can think of is they're buying back shares. And not only do they pay a dividend in August of 10 cent, a special dividend, but they also are buying back shares. Now, the only other thing I can think of is maybe this company is being bought out by somebody. I mean, it's a very teeny tiny company. I mean, I want to say when I started looking at this thing, it was probably a $30 million market cap. Might have been 60 million, but it's basically done almost nothing for like 5 years. Besides that one time it spiked to close to $5 or four and a half. Um, So a lot of people that are buying this right now probably have no idea anything about the company. They're just buying it because it's going up. But I mean, just and and last week I decided to take some profit. I took some profit at 290, and like I said, I only had maybe like 2,000 shares. I mean, I was big on this company, but I don't want to stick the whole kitchen sink in it because, like I said, it was barely profitable. I mean, they made 10 cent. Um, Even though I think it's undervalued, I don't think it's necessarily a great business. Um, but I mean, it's up 20% in the past 5 days. It's up 60% in the last month, and in the past 6 months, it's up 82%. So this thing has been a big winner. And then you got all these people writing articles now that it's got, now people are noticing it. Like basically nobody. I'm probably one of the few people that actually have been following this company for the last 5 years or so. But just taking a quick look at the statistics, you can see the book value is about half. So you're getting maybe a 60% discount at least, um, even to book value. And I think when I started looking, it was probably closer to 80 million. But even today, you know, 135 million is still cheap as cheap as can be. Um, in September 2020, we acquired um, blah blah blah, as well as rights to use a rail terminal. And then in March, they required another mine. What I like about this thing is they're fairly concentrated in one particular area of the country. Directly control 5 in-basin loading facilities, have access to a third party. Um, but you can see over the last couple of years, they've just been adding more and more assets. And what I liked about what they were doing is they were buying these assets at basically fire sale prices. And that was the reason I was buying this company 5 years ago. Was they were or 4 years ago, or however long it's been. But um, a lot of people right now, they just see this stock going up and they're looking at the green thing, and they're just looking at candles and jumping on the bandwagon, but they really have no idea what they're buying. But even at these prices, even though this thing has gone straight up, literally straight up, um, and the thing that pissed me off the other day is, I had sold 2,000. Like I said, I don't have very much money. I had a small position. I had 2,000 shares, which was, like I said, originally I bought it at 216, and I basically sold at 290. Um, let's see. So 2,000 shares times 74 cent is roughly 1,480 bucks. Um, and I'm kind of kicking myself because I knew this thing was way undervalued. Uh, why didn't I go in more? Why didn't I could have easily made 10 grand or so instead of 1,500. Um, I have no idea why this thing continues to go up, even though earnings was, you know, earnings was a long time ago, like 20 days ago. Now they are paying a special dividend. Um, a special dividend of 5 cents. Now, even at 2,000 shares, 5 cent is almost nothing. It's like $100. So I don't think it's worth it to buy this thing just for the dividend. But the thing that's crazy, the thing that pissed me off was, I had sold it, I think maybe Friday at 290, and then Monday I log in and it's 320, and just my little 2,000 shares, if I would have kept it through the weekend, that'd been an extra 600 bucks. And I mean, it's up 20 cents today. There's no news. I, um, at some point, people have to be taking profits. People still are not taking any profits. I don't. Um, I mean, it dipped right here slightly to 322, like first thing this morning, and then it's been on a tear ever since. I mean, I don't know if people are like, maybe just one person is like manipulating the buy and the ask spread. I think two things are either happening. I think they're either buying back shares, which is very probable. Although, if I'm the company, I don't want to be buying shares at a 52-week high. I want to be buying back shares at a 52-week low. Um, so hopefully that is not the case. Maybe they bought some shares back here or something, Now, if they're buying back shares, that's good because the earnings per share will go up. The amount of shares outstanding will go down. Um, maybe there's some company trying to buy this thing. Like I said, this is a teeny tiny company. This isn't even a $1 billion company. This is $100 million company. This isn't $1 trillion company. This is the 100 million. Um, I like to look at these smaller companies because number one, they're easier to kind of analyze and stuff because they don't really have that many things to actually look at. Whereas $1 billion company or $1 trillion company might have 1,000 pages of assets to look through. So some of these assets that they have purchased, you know, like this one became operational in January 2023, 22, and then 23. This one became operational in 24. So over the last 5 years, they were basically buying assets at fire sale prices, and now they're starting to see the fruits of their labor and seeing some of these assets take fruit and produce something. The trend is expected to continue moderately to 2025 as well. Additionally, demand may increase over the next 5 years. Which may be driven by increased export capacity of liquid natural gas and potential increased power demand for data centers. Continue to focus on being the low-cost provider. We believe our 3 sand mines in Oakdale, Wisconsin, Ottawa, Illinois, and Blair, Wisconsin have a unique, desirable combination of large, high-quality reserves of fine mesh sand that is contiguous to their production and primary rail loading facilities that are either on site or in close proximity to their mines. We have an estimated life of the mine of approximately 60 years at Oakdale, 125 years at Iowa, and 56 years at Blair. So they can produce 10 million tons. We believe that we are one of the few frac sand producers with a network of facilities custom designed for the specific purpose of delivering frac sand to all the major U.S. oil and natural gas producing basins by having rail facilities that can simultaneously accommodate multiple unit trains on site or in close proximity to our mining, blah blah blah. We are capable of delivering to substantially all onshore operating bases in the United States and Canada. We have direct access to 4 rail lines, which give us an advantage over many of our competitors. Smart systems. They got a 30 million line of credit. Scrolling down to get to some numbers. The chief executive officer owns almost 20%, which is a good thing. Almost 1,000 acres in Wisconsin. And is available for future development. We have two long-term leases. First site, almost 2,000 acres in Texas. And then almost 2,500 acres in Texas. We closed our lease 56,000 square foot facility in Canada and moved to a manufacturing into this space Oakdale facility in the US. So I like how most of this stuff is pretty well concentrated. The Blair mine has really ramped up. This one has gone down and this one's kind of stayed the same. Total net book value of Oakdale Facilities real property and tangible assets as of December was 101 million. Just that one thing alone is almost the current market cap. Just the Oakdale Facilities real property and tangible assets. Only one commodity, silica sand, is mined, processed, sold at the Oakdale site. The total book value of the auto facility was 40 million. So you got the Oakdale one at 101 million. Let's say 100 million. You got the auto one at let's say 40 million. 140 million. That's more than the current market cap. And we haven't even got to the Blair one yet. Total book value of Blair was 18 million as of December 31st, 2024. So you got 100 million. Um, $100 million plus 40 million plus 20 million, basically. That's 160 million just for the 3 plants. And they just paid, I want to say $6 million, I think, with this $10. I think that was $6 million they paid. So now they're starting to see success from all these acquisitions they bought at rock bottom prices. Longer laterals and more frac stages. This trend is leading to higher volumes of sand per well and the need for oil and natural to manage larger volumes of sand in the well site. Net income is at $3 million for the quarter. Gross profit of $44 million, but operating expenses ate most of that up. Free cash flow of almost $11 million. They had 1.6 million cash on hand. So there you have it, guys. It's just crazy to me that this thing has continued to go on for, like I said, this was 20 days ago, 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, earnings were. And it's just gone up steadily every single day since. I don't know. I think, well, I know when they paid the dividend, it's going to go down a couple cents. But like I said, I don't know if they're buying back shares. I don't know if somebody is trying to buy the company. Maybe a bigger business is, because it's definitely undervalued. It's undervalued by a lot. I mean, you just saw the book value of the three facilities on the form, and just the three facilities alone is 160 million. Not to mention this thing has gone up 83% in the last 6 months. So it was even more undervalued than that 6 months ago. Now, for this thing to continue going up, I would think they would need some good earnings. Um, Coming up. But like I said, they just had earnings. Um, but yeah, this is the last day to get that little 5 cent. Per share, which is nothing to scoff at, but to me, it's no reason to spend $8,000 or so buying a couple thousand shares just to get $100. But just the three plants is, like I said, 160 million. Last year was the book value, so the book value might have gone up this year. I don't know. Plus, they got access to all the rail cars. If the oil exploration and drilling continues, that could be a good sign. Um, I still think this thing is undervalued. I don't know what a price target could be. Um, when I bought this thing years ago, I was probably thinking it was probably $10 or so. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But this video is mainly for a lot of the guys that have no idea what the hell they're buying. And now you kind of know what you're buying. You're buying a company that, is barely profitable, but their assets are worth a lot more than the market cap of the company. The company has authorized share buybacks. They did pay a 10-cent dividend in August. They're paying another 5-cent dividend as on the record today. Whoever's on the record today will get that 5 cent per share dividend. And they're starting to see some fruits of their fruits of their labor from I was wondering if they had like an investor. A lot of times they have like an um, investor presentation or something. Here, let's look at this. Well positioned to take advantage of projected growth in natural gas demand. Now, one thing I do think is natural gas is way undervalued. %18 owned by CEO and 36% owned by insiders. Almost $20 million in capital returned to shareholders since January. Um, so you got a business that was basically, $100 million that's already returned $20 million to shareholders. That's pretty good. Have repurchased 6.2 million shares since January 2023. Paid 10 cents a share dividend in October 24 and August. Fully integrated provider of mind to wealth site solutions. So maybe the value of the sand will go up too. Thanks for watching, guys. I think even at these prices, it's still a good buy. Thanks, guys.